You're live.
Hello and welcome to another Destiny hangout, and today we're going to talk about the movie Elysium. And I will apologize because this poor quality of the video that I'm appearing in, it's because of connection issues, because I'm currently far out on the countryside. So I have two guests with me here today, and it's Valentin Rossman from, let's see here, Lithuania, right now?
Slovenia.
Do you hear me, Valentin?
Yeah, I'm from Slovenia.
Slovenia, right.
Yeah.
I always forget. Yeah. And I have Amber from the Netherlands. That is correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and also those looking today, you're able to ask questions and we will answer them to the best of our ability. So I will start with the end of the movie, and I will begin with asking you, Valentin, that in the end of the movie, everyone, all the citizens of Earth, they are added into the system, and at that moment the system acts or begin to act to the benefit of everyone, and this is shown in the movie by this illusion, this space station sending out its medical crafts and its medical personnel to begin to heal all the inhabitants of Earth. And I wonder, what did you see in relation to that, Valentin? What's your perspective on that? What can we learn from that point?
Okay, so I would like to firstly explain a bit of context for those who have not seen the movie yet. The rich people have in the future created like a space station where they live the life of abundance, and there is total slavery on the planet Earth. So at the end of the movie, the main character or one of the main characters resets the system, and then the space station sends the help to the planet, where they have equal access now to the very advanced medical technology, where they can instantly cure any disease and any physical damage. So what this reminds me is about the current system, where there is no equal access to the health support, and in some countries you have to pay a lot of money to get well. Luckily, in our country, Slovenia, the basic social care is financed by country, by the government, but you still have to pay for advanced treatments. So what the movie exposes is that it would be cool for all the people to have equal access to the health support, and that we are able to do this simply by changing the rules of the system to define all the human beings on the planet to be equally valuable, equal worth, and that all then receive equal support, and not only the rich people.
Yeah, because it's interesting that a common view within those that see that there's a problem with the system of today in our world, that it tends to be this antagonistic stance. You know, it's the system is bad, the system is wrong, but really what the system consists of at this moment is a bunch of laws. And thus, if we were able to change those laws to consider everyone, well, then we would have a cool world. So it's not that the system is bad, it's just that it has laws and regulations that are not effective for everyone.
Yeah.
So Amber, what would you say about this point?
Yeah, let me think a sec. Yeah, I think it indeed it would the system would need some improvements to function better, because like you see it obviously in the movie, it's very it's on a different scale, so it seems much worse there. But it's, yeah, you in the normal world, it would, yeah, it happens too, but on a smaller scale. And um, it yeah, it needs to be improved. Like at the end of the movie, what you said, that everyone is included in the system. That is something that I think would be very cool if it happened on Earth normally too. If everyone could just have access to the healthcare, and yeah.
Yeah, totally agree with you. It would be like awesome if we could change our current system to actually be inclusive, because at the moment there are, I mean, we living in these industrialized Western countries, we're actually the minority in that we do have some of our basic needs unconditionally granted by the government. But that is obviously something that should be equal for everyone, regardless of where you're born in this world.
Yeah.
So I will move on to a new aspect here, and it's about the main character. And Valentin, you shared a little bit here about what he does. He goes on this personal mission where he travels to Elysium, and there he changes the code. So he does, this hero feat of heroism, a good act. But what I noticed is his starting point. I mean, why does he do it? Why why doesn't he why does he finally take action? And it's quite interesting because I saw that he doesn't do it because he realizes that it would be cool to do. It's because he gets this, radiation poisoning, and suddenly his life is threatened, and he then, and only then, he acts. And so, Amber, what do you see in relation to this point, that we as human beings have a tendency to wait until shit gets really bad before we actually do something?
Yeah, it's something that I see happening every day. Um, People don't really care until it really comes close to home. As long as their life is good, then they keep on living as they're doing, and unless their family or close friends, if have they have happened something to them that makes it impossible to live how they lived before, then they would start trying to change things.
And how about you, Valentin? What have you seen here?
Yeah, it's typical in the movies that the main character must experience certain big trauma before he goes to action, and we are like also waiting for something big shock to happen in our lives before we care for other human beings. And it would be cool to change this for everyone to consider each other before some big trouble happens. And we have a question here.
Yeah. So the question is,
It's
in our process, I notice as well that we tend to escape into another planet, such as an imaginary life in our minds, instead of looking at the real problems that exist in our lives and on our planet. From your perspective, how can we stay or stand grounded and real? And this is from Joanna Jesus. And Amber, do you have any perspective on that point? How you can
I'm sorry, I didn't really understand everything.
help yourself to...
Oh, okay. So I have the question now too. I'm just gonna read it myself.
Yeah, well, I can say it again. Okay.
Yeah, could you say it again? It would be, I didn't get everything.
Yeah, I can reformulate it. You know, like Elysium, it almost rhymes with illusion. It's this imaginary fantasy heaven out there. What we tend to do is that we dream away in our minds to a better life, and then we tend to, forget about our real life. So I was wondering whether you have any form of
uh,
Amber, shall I start answering the
yeah,
question?
I start answering.
Okay. So yeah, it's a bit confusing question. So what can we do to not allow these kind of things to happen, to stick with the reality? Yeah, so it is best for not use much imagination and try to escape from the real problems here on the planet by like meditating or using drugs and so on to try to escape from the physical reality to go into our minds and fantasize. The best would be to look at what kind of problems currently exist on this world, and then take practical physical actions in order to change like legislation, and to establish a better system of support, so that we would not need to escape from this planet, but to make the life on this planet best for all, where each of us could enjoy and live here without any existential problems.
Yeah, so by the way, I'm back because I fell out a bit there. But I mean, that's a very cool solution, to focus on what it is that we're able to do in our day-to-day reality, and make sure that when we do, or make sure that in our lives, that we give focus and attention to that which is tangible, and that we don't go off into our minds, because that won't help. But remaining practical, that will have results. And another interesting point that I noticed about this movie was the defense minister of Elysium. And in one part in the movie, she has the responsibility of securing the exclusiveness of Elysium, that no one that is not allowed to enter does enter. And so at one point in the movie, some refugees try to get into Elysium with these spaceships, and she orders them to be shot down, and she kills about 50 people, and she's like very cold-hearted in that. And what I could see is that, I mean, if we look at our world, it's in a way like that is how we also function on a personal level. Because if we look at how we, for example, prioritize people in our environment, we tend to make sure or always care about our family firstly, and when the family is okay, only then might we care about someone from the outside. So in relation to this point, Amber, have you also seen something similar, or do you have something to share about this? Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think it's something that you care about your family, as it's almost genetic, I think. In people, it's normal that you first care about, take care about of the people you truly care about, and then you start thinking about maybe people who live near you that don't have it as good as you have. And yeah, you can see that, for example, yeah, you mostly see it with people who are a bit more wealthy, because they have more to lose. And I've noticed that people who are a lot poorer and don't really have anything to lose anymore are less like that. They just give things to people, help other people, and yeah, probably because they've seen how it can get if you don't help other people.
That's an interesting point. I mean, for myself, what I have seen is that, for example, in relation to career and money, that I have been like very focused upon acquiring my life, and getting everything straight, and making sure that I get there. But then in that, there haven't been that sort of realization existent that, I mean, in this world, there isn't only me. And when I win or I get that perfect job, there's in fact someone else that lose out and that do not get that job. So Valentin, do you have anything to share in relation to this point?
Yeah, I also see that there is a lot of separation in this world, that we care just for our families, for our own children, and there is a much better way. Like I know that there are some native tribes who do not treat people, children, like our society do. Basically, we here separate each generation. So when people get married, they get their own apartment and they raise the children on their own. Basically, there is no much use of elder people in our society. And in some native tribes, it's a very different system of supporting children to educate them. Uh, in some cases, uh, the woman selects the man just for the sake of getting pregnant. And when she delivers the baby, then the whole village is taking care of the child, and so the child gets a lot of experience from very different people. And this would be also very cool approach to implement in our modern society. And this is also a way to raise the children, to develop uh, talents, to become more of a genius, to develop potentials. So it's very important for the child to get experience with a lot of different older responsible people. And it is very foolish that some parents try to like own the child, to that they define them as their own property, and they are very protective, and also they harm other people because they want to protect their own child, and this is not a very nice approach.
Yeah, it's interesting how this point of the family, that it creates this idea of it's me against them, it's us against them. And I mean, one solution that we can apply and live in our daily lives in order to change this point is to start considering all the people in our world as our equals, to realize that we're all here, flesh and blood, we all come from the same dust, and we, because of that, have the same right to life, and we are in fact from the same family, and that is the family of life. And if we take this one step further, we can see that if we apply this point, there wouldn't anymore be nations or countries, and thus there wouldn't any more be war, for example. Because war, I mean, that comes from such a point of the belief that it's us against them, and we have to compete against one another.
Exactly.
And yeah. So there was a question here.
Yeah.
And today we have so much technology and so much information. So in many ways, we're at a point where everyone can have a good health, good food, shelter, and education. And yet, this does not exist. What is your feeling about creating a microchip? And this is from Rebecca Dalmas. And I think, and you have to correct me if I'm wrong, Rebecca, that the context of this question is utilizing a microchip as a form of control to make sure that everyone.
Oh.
Yeah, so Victor dropped out again, so I will continue discussion and will start to answering this question. So in the movie there is a point where one must get some kind of chip burned into the skin in order for like get a passport to these rich people's like satellites society, and also devices like healing devices are only activated where when they find out that the person has this chip imprinted in the skin. So of course we already have a lot of microchips in our society. We have the chip in our mobile phones, on our credit cards, debit cards. So we are already using microchip extensively. And in the movies, in this movie that we are discussing, there is advanced technology of communication like mobile phone being integrated into the skull behind the ear, and you are also able to upload information directly to your brain. So all this technology is, of course, very assisting, but it also creates opportunity for abuse. And of course, abuse will still exist. So with the development of the technology, also a danger of harming to others will become even more hidden. It will be harder to notice because it's not like a physical act, it's just information, it's bits of data, electricity, and we will have to create some kind of system to prevent abuse. And the best is, of course, to educate people to change their own mind patterns in order not to be abusive, because every safety device can be overridden, and there is no total protection from abuse. Only if we start to reprogram ourselves, our society, to re-educate children to become more responsible and to respect each other equally, this will be the best way to live here in harmony without any potential of abuse.
Cool, Valentin. I dropped out again, so I didn't get all of that. But I guess you were expanding on the point of the microchip.
Yeah.
Right.
So now it will be also cool for Amber to give perspective.
I don't really have anything to add on what you said, so yeah. That's about what I think about it too, so.
So what do you think about the microchip?
Well, I think yeah, well, you have so many different kinds. So the first thing I thought about was like microchip that is integrated into the body, like in a movie, and that's something that always scares me because indeed what you said, it can be abused. So yeah, as long as it functions properly and it helps a society, then it would be a great idea to incorporate them into, yeah, even ourselves. But as long as there is a lot of abuse, as there is now, for those kind of things, I think it wouldn't be a good idea yet. So, yeah.
Okay, and we have another question.
Yes, I can read it. Let's see here. Hello, nice to be off work during movie time. I'm a Destonian infant and I struggle through the DIP Lite. And for those that do not know, the DIP Lite is a free course that we offer as an introduction to the Destiny material. And I continue, but I love the Destonian approach. And my question is, continuing the microchip question, isn't our natural microchip the pineal gland being manipulated? And this is from Casey Glendinning. And I think that what she means is that, in essence, the microchip we all carry is fears and emotions, and how we can become triggered to act and behave in a particular way by the use of certain behaviors, mannerisms, words, tonalities, pictures, etc. For example, one effective way of manipulation is ads and commercials. But what do you think about this point, Valentin?
Yeah, I have also researched about this pineal gland, that this is the region in our brains, like inner eye, that enables us to see, to have certain perspective, or even to develop like some kind of supernatural abilities. And there was a lot of talk that this is being manipulated, like by adding this chemical into the water. What is the in the swimming pools? What do they add to the water? It's chlorium or something.
I
Like
don't
this.
know it in English either.
Yeah. So there are a lot of additives in our food, in our water, that change our physical bodies and diminish our ability to use all the potentials of our physical bodies, to support ourselves and to be more successful in our world. So this is things that we cannot influence a lot, because it's in the system, in the water, in the food. So what we can do is to assist ourselves with stopping the emotional reactions, to become inner stable, to direct ourselves more effectively. And this is a more tangible solution than like dealing with pineal gland or something similar. So I would suggest to start here, to support yourself with like walking this Desteni I Process course, which is really fantastic.
Yeah, so as you said, Valentin, I mean, it's important to remember that we are in fact responsible, and that there is nothing outside of ourselves that is responsible for how we live and participate in this world, and that there are many theories, and in general there is this sort of idea that the brain controls us. But if we look at it, it's really but a scapegoat, because in essence we decide who we are, even though this realization might be suppressed through layers and layers of acceptances and allowances that we have accumulated throughout our lives. Amber, I would like to ask you the question, do you see there as being some form of natural microchip that we somehow are in a way controlled by, for example, fears or desires or something like that?
Well, yeah, I think yeah, what you guys said, indeed, you are practically controlled by fear, I think, mostly. Yeah, and someone could even control you by yeah, by using fear. So if you are not in control of your emotions, then with ads and all the technology and information, they could scare you practically, and you would not do certain things or do certain things. So in a way, you are kind of programmable by using your emotions. So if you could stabilize that, then you would be less susceptible for those things.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting, this point, because if we look at, for example, how the media is used, and particularly in America, where certain keywords are used that are specific because they instigate certain experiences. And for example, terrorist or freedom, or I mean, our country, the constitution, all of these words are used because they instigate a form of experience that the leaders of the country seem preferable, because it makes it easier to control the citizens of the country. And I don't know, have you noticed something similar, Valentin?
Yes, of course. There are specific words that are used to attract attention of the masses, to create public opinion, which gives the opportunity for a certain group of people to uh, to get their own interest. So Victor has dropped out again. Yeah, there is a lot of, yeah.
Yeah, did you hear my question, Valentin?
Yeah, I have started to answer it. So yeah, the politics is about manipulation using words to hypnotize people into certain beliefs. So the politicians or the governments create the problem. They make people to fear, and then they expand their control on the population even more extensive. So it is best for every one of us to be aware of such manipulations and Destiny courses are also very supportive in order to see the world and not to emotionally react and be directed by these words, but to analyze them and see for what they are, what is the starting point, what is the purpose behind certain words, and not to allow any manipulation from media and from the politicians or from the elite.
Yeah, cool perspective, Valentin. So we'll go up to here for tonight, and it's primarily because of my connection issues. And well, it's been cool to have you here. And for next week, Joanna Jesus will do another movie hangout, and it will be about, I'm not actually sure what it will be about, but next Saturday at this time at 9 o'clock there will be another movie hangout. So do you have any last words, guys? Valentin?
Yeah. Yeah, I would like to invite everyone again to experience Desteni I Process Lite course, because it's free, it's available, it comes with personal support, and it really gives you basic life skills that we should be taught in the kindergarten already. But it's not too late, so everyone, regardless of the age, can sign up. Of course, it's in English language for this time. And there is also additional courses there where you can go even deeper in your mind patterns and start to direct yourself, your life, more and more effectively.
Cool. And Amber, do you have some final words?
No.
Alrighty then. I will end off here. Thank you very much, and thank you, audience, for watching. I'll see you in 2 weeks' time. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.